kid, I always wanted to go out with fishing boats out of San Francisco when the salmon ran, because they use the long lines, miles of lines with hooks. This is an old way of doing something, and it kind of gets you right back to the beginning. And ever since then, you kind of have a feeling about the ocean that you never had before. Now I'm working as a commercial diver. It's the new way of working with the sea, but I still have the old feelings about the sea. Consider yourself as being a diver, you can consider yourself one of the pioneers, because actually diving has only been taking place in the last 20 years. And so you can be one of the first, and being on the ground floor in any industry nowadays is a rarity. Everything's so old, you just feel like you're coming in midstream and you're not accomplishing anything to the groundwork. But here you have a chance to do that. Diving wages are determined by the union on the West Coast. This is pretty good. If you just get your feet wet in the surface, you're getting $13.50 an hour. There's no set wages. It depends on how deep you are, how long it takes, and what breathing mixture you breathe. Okay, that doesn't sound like much of a problem. We'll see what we can do.
All right, let's get started.
Okay. During the course of my senior year, I read an article about Santa Barbara City College having a marine technology program as an experiment. The program is not designed to strictly teach you to be a commercial diver alone. It's an introduction to many fields, the varied field of marine technology. You don't have to dive. You can be an oceanographer, a marine biologist. Like I say, it introduces you to many things. The course covered everything from technical physics to machine shop. Before you start work as a commercial diver, you spend time in an apprenticeship type program. During this time, you're called a tender. And a tender's duties are to help the diver in whichever way you can. You help him on with his gear, you help him with his decompression, and you try to keep things running smoothly on the surface while the diver is down. You can't wait till you become a diver, but when you finally make it, you find it isn't all that glamorous. You find that a diver's job is really just to be a handyman or mechanic, and he uses the water to get to his job. A diver is called upon to do a multitude of jobs. It's always different, and that's why I like it. You're scared to death like any job your first few times. Once you learn to do it, you get down there and you're all alone, man. It's a little bit freaky, but you're all alone, and you're doing it for yourself. I had taught my wife how to dive, but she could barely swim before. She learned to swim pretty good, and ever since she's learned to dive, and we've dove together quite often, and I catch her every once in a while just kind of staring hazy-eyed at the ocean. It's a mystical medium. It really is. More than often, a diver has the feeling that when he goes down, and even scuba diving, sport diving, and you're about out of air, and you think, oh, I don't really want to go up to the surface. Because you come up, as soon as you hit the surface, there's noise. It is awful noise. Maybe it's even just the waves bouncing against rocks. But when you're down there, the only noise you have is the bubbles coming out of your regulator, and that seems to be all part of the atmosphere. And you're alone with your thoughts, and yet you're doing something. And the only thing that bugs you is you got to come up pretty soon. It's a physical job. Having a physically oriented job seems to stimulate your body and mind both. It's hard work, but it's rewarding. Like any hard work, when you get through with the day, you're able to relax totally and not worry about what's happened at the office. You can do your day's work, come home and forget it, and then go back to it the next day. That's what I enjoy most about it. We were born in this world, on land, in the air, and by the time we were old enough to realize what type of world we were in, we'd already missed so many years, you know. We weren't able to comprehend everything that was happening in our world as soon as we were born. But you learn to dive, and you do dive. You're at an age where everything that happens to you from the beginning is comprehended. And that's a new feeling, to be in a new world, and yet born in a new world, and being able to take in everything that happens.